A very, very warm welcome and a very good afternoon to you. The temperature's close to, if not above, 30 degrees. We're in our mid to high 80s in Fahrenheit. Great to have you tuned in here on Chukka TV. We are coming to you live for our second match of today's WPL play. Remember, we had a match earlier this morning. It was Ganzi versus Ganzi. Richard Mille were taking on Seminole Casino Coconut Creek. It was a very, very close game. It ended very narrowly with Richard Mille winning by 9 goals to 8. And it is now the turn of the afternoon's match here. The last game in the first round. All 8 teams will have played after this game. And let me introduce you to the 2 teams that are out on the field. We have Great Oaks in the baby blue, the light blue shirts. And leading the tally there at number 1, Torito Ruiz, who had to jump in this morning for an injured Nick Roldan. So a busy day for that young 7-goal player. So Torito Ruiz in at number 1, playing off 7 goals. At number 2, another 7-goaler, a very talented Clemente Zavaleta. At number 3, Nacho Navijo Estrada at 8 goals, and the backdoor position there, Dylan Bacon playing off a very solid 2. Tamera, the team in the dark blue shirts, at number 1. A gentleman both on and off the field. Ali Poma playing at 1 goals at number 2. Santi Torres, the 7-goaler, coming in for Porto Cambiasso on this occasion at number 3. The 9-goaler, that is Diego Kavanagh, and Heiho Taranco, the 8-goaler, playing the number 4 position. So as I said, we've had 3 matches. Remember, we started the action of this, the 3rd WPL Palm Beach Open tournament. There are, of course, a total of 4 WPL tournaments. The 4th and final one will be coming up, of course, right after this, the Palm Beach Open. That will be the Triple Crown. And then the boys, I'm sure, will be very much looking forward to maybe a slight change of scenery and also a slight change of surface, because they're all going to be descending down on Miami Beach, 23rd through to the 25th of April. The WPL Miami Beach World Cup, of course, from Miami Beach. Make sure you get tickets. You can go online to not only get tickets, but also to get the schedule. Now, reminding me to remind you of scheduling. If you'd like to follow on all the schedules, we do sometimes have some last-minute changes. Please go to gcpolo.com, Grand Champions Polo, gcpolo.com. And, of course, all the action you can follow, as always, on Chukka TV, on Facebook, amongst other social platforms. So no excuse, no reason for you not to get comfortable now in the comfort of your own home. Maybe you're sitting outside in the shade. If you're down here in Florida, as I say, quite a hot afternoon. 3 matches have been played. The opening match was played on Monday when Casablanca took on White Birch, winning 13 goals to 10 that afternoon. We had in Group B, Pampa Norte, and I still like to go on about that. The Pampa Norte, of course, coming in on 22 goals against Santa Rita 25. Well, Pampa Norte controlled and dominated that game from start to finish, and were duly rewarded with a 15 goals to 10 victory over Santa Rita. This morning then, as I said, it was Ganzi versus Ganzi, a very close affair. The Cobra and his team getting their immediate first win after winning and lifting that beautiful Founders Cup on Sunday. Now it is the last pairing in Group B of this first round of the WPL Palm Beach Open 2021. Great Oaks, as I just said, Great Oaks in the baby blue and Tamera in the dark blue shirts. Your 2 mounted umpires this afternoon, Esteban Ferrari and Federico Martelli. Gaston Dorignac, good afternoon, Gaston, who's in the studio as 3rd man. My name is Jan-Erik Frank. I'm delighted to be your voice of polo here this afternoon. As I say, we're coming to you live from Jan Pamela, just a hop and a skip around the corner from Grand Champions Polo Club. And we still have a busy week ahead of a lot of polo. Very important to remind you, first of all, the boys in the WPL are going to get a day off, and I think a deserved day off tomorrow on Thursday the 18th. Friday the 19th, then we will have at 4:30 in the afternoon, the much anticipated finals of the SIBA Memorial. I believe John Sieber and his family will be in town for that, so looking forward to welcoming them back at Grand Champions. And then it is still a little bit open. A lot of polo to be played, especially WPL games. Now, as I said, you can check out on the schedule on gcpolo.com to get the latest updates, as I am now going to focus on what's happening on the field as Esteban Ferrari, one of our two mounted umpires, gets that first ball of play. 6 chukkers await us. Hope you're comfortable. Hope you got yourself a nice cup of iced tea as you watch this, the opening chukker. Here we go then. Under the next shot there from the number 1, and that was Torito Ruiz. Very quickly picked up by the player here with the number 4 on his shirt in the dark blue, and that of course is Heiho Taranko, a 7-goaler, an 8-goaler, a 9-goaler and a 1-goaler. And that's a nice pickup on the number 1 here. Ale Poma, can he finish what he started? He made very, very small work there of that more difficult of the 2 shots, picking that ball up on the near side, just couldn't hit the target. As he's on the ball, I think, again on the far side. A little bit of melee straight away on the sideboards. The umpires, of course, with a watchful eye to determine who has the right of way. Not always that easy to see when you've got, well, in this case now, 6 times 2, 12 legs standing in front of the ball. Eventually the ball gets cleared and is opened. Now just remember also for Tamera, the man with the number 2 in the red helmet and the dark blue shirt, Santi Torres. Great player to watch, and somebody who you will find all over the field. He will go back in defence. He will be in midfield to help start up an offensive play. And he will also very much make himself available when it comes up to the front and scoring goals. Alongside Mr. Steve Lane, who is going to help me and also explain 1 or 2 of the technicalities as they appear on the field to you. Good afternoon, Steve. Good to have you with us, of course. Well, we had the first foul here of this opening chukker. Remember, it is an open tournament, so they are not playing with any advantages given, unlike we had in the All-Star and also in the Founders Cup. If the team on handicap was slightly weaker than that of the opposition, subject to what that difference is, that number would be given as an advantage from the outset. This, the Palm Beach Open, this is where that does not apply. Let's now go and watch Clemente Zavaleta, the man with the number 2 here for Great Oaks, converting, no problem there, a penalty 2 and getting the first score up on the scoreboard here for Great Oaks. Just if you've just joined us, let me just quickly remind you, because we've got 2 blue coloured shirts out there, the baby blue, the light blue, that is Great Oaks, and Tamera in the dark shirts, the dark blue is, well, as I say, Tamera. Back to the centre they go. 5.5 minutes, or approaching the 5.5 minute mark in this, the opening chukker. Ball's back in play. Little open backhand, but it'll be met straight away by the number 4. Has a little deflection there, Taranko, but Torres coming back, and Torres will try and drag that defending player with him to allow this man, the man with the number 3, Diego Kavanagh, highest handicap player on the field with 9 goals, to make that shot up to the front. He was hoping that Ale Poma was going to pick that one up. As again, the dark blue shirt, Taranko, Heiho Taranko sends one nicely up into the danger zone. Taranko looking for Diego Kavanagh to try and finish it. Well, there wasn't much in it, and you can see there he is, Santi Torres. He's the chap with the dark red helmet. Coming in on the number 1 there, Torito Ruiz. And that ball, as you can see, over the sideboards will result in a hit from the spot. Now, Steve Lane was explaining yesterday to the viewers watching that it's not that long ago when a ball went out of play that they would actually have a throw-in. They would line up on the sideboards. This now, of course, has been changed, modified again to get to keep play flowing, rather. So it'll be the man with the number 3, Kavanagh. Nice and flat, looking for somebody, and somehow it manages to just find its way, wiggle its way through. So the equaliser and the first goal for Diego Kavanagh Man with the number 3, 9 goals, highest handicap player out on the field. 3:55 as they come back to the centre. Esteban Ferrari, as I say, and Federico Martelli, your two mounted umpires. Gaston Dorignac in the studio as third man, and if need be also the instant replay official, meaning of course that Chaka TV of course is so well equipped with the state-of-the-art equipment that any play at any time can be reviewed within a matter of seconds. We of course have the eye in the sky, the drone, we have what I call the Tower of Power. Stephanie of course here on the halfway line, bringing you the action from her angle. So, as I say, state-of-the-art equipment, Chaka TV, and a hit from the spot, a 5A, has been awarded, whilst some of the players and the umpire did blow that whistle, allowing the players to go for what we call a courtesy change. Steve, I've got you with me. It's always good to have you with me. Last game of the first round. 1 goal in it. If we look at the fact that Santi Torres coming in with 7 goals, replacing Pronto Cambiaso, who originally were off 24, so it would have been an even Stevens 24 both sides. Do you think that Tamera now with Santi Torres, who of course playing off 7 goals, might have that slight advantage?
No, I don't think so. Diego Cavanaugh's missed a game with this team. And, of course, Ali Palma, a new player on this team as well. And Great Oaks has had several games underneath their belt, so I think they're going to gel a little bit quicker. But keep in mind, they have to mark Diego Cavanaugh because he is tough out on the field. So I got Great Oaks with an advantage in the first half, but who knows what's going to happen in the second half.
Absolutely well put, of course. Diego Cavanaugh, as we mentioned earlier, the highest handicap player out there, totaling 9 goals. Then it goes down by 1 to Heijo Taranco, the player with the number 4, playing off 8 goals. Santi Torres off 1, and Ali Palma, of course, with 1 goal. Once again for Great Oaks in the light blue shirts. Torito Ruiz, 7. Clemente Zavaleta, 7. He's already scored 1. Nacho Navijo Estrada, the man with the number 3. And then, of course, Dylan Bacon playing the 4. And just talking of Nacho Navijo Estrada, he gets things underway as the players come back after a quick pony change here. And the ball is picked up by Santi Torres. Santi Torres has to just hold back ever so slightly. There was no one up front he could play it to. And yeah, Steve, well, we've seen that quite a lot, riding into the swing of a player. And that's, of course, another very important rule that is a no-no in polo. Could you just say a few words about that?
Yeah, that's riding in to the swing from behind. And, of course, if that player, the dark blue player in this case, had his arm down and that light blue player's horse's head comes in, it's going to hit the elbow, and the elbow just does not bend that way. So that's the danger in that play.
Absolutely, of course. And again, our umpire's doing a very good job here to nip that in the bud straight away as soon as anything which is untoward. Now, of course, the WPL has been designed and modified, as we kept talking yesterday and earlier this morning, Steve, to allow and create an even flow polo. But of course, you know, some of the basic rules need to be adhered to, especially when it comes to the welfare of the four-legged athlete and the two-legged athlete. And as a result of that infringement, a penalty 4. So that, of course, is 60 yards for the team in the dark blue shirts. Tamera, and a chance here for, well, you just mentioned him yourself, very dangerous here. That's the 9-goaler. Kavanagh didn't get underneath that ball quite the way I'm sure we would have liked. So that one just going out to the side there. It's still 1 apiece. And we have 3 minutes left to play in this, the opening chukker. Steve, talking about, you know, the way we've seen some of these WPL games, especially on Monday and also this morning, the teams, you know, straight in at the deep end, if you will. These two teams this afternoon just taking a little bit slower here, haven't quite yet gotten to the speed that we might expect. But, of course, I'm sure that will change.
Yeah, I think they're pacing themselves early on here. As you mentioned, it's very hot out today, so no sense in burning themselves out here early in the first period of play. Maybe even might be a little slow the first half of the second period, but things will open up as this is the World Polo League, 26-goal polo.
Well put, of course, 26-goal polo, the highest level of polo played anywhere outside of Argentina, of course, on earth. And as I like to say, what better venue than right here in southern Florida, the home of the World Polo League, the Grand Champions Polo Club, of course, hosting this string of 4 tournaments now in this, the 3rd year. So, Steve, talk us about that. That was a little bit what I would deem as a negative play. The player standing on the ball, and we've had this also in previous games where the umpires will, of course, make a call to the players, use it or lose it kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And on this play here, this was very close to being a delay of game. That player had an open avenue to play polo and chose not to, chose to go around. And in this time, he put the ball underneath his horse's neck at a little bit of an angle. And Great Oaks thought that they were on the line, but they did have to cross the line to get to the ball. And think of the line of the ball as a knife. And if the line of the ball was a knife, it would have cut that Great Oaks pony in half. So hence the right-of-way violation.
Again, well spotted there by the umpires, who, of course, as I say, are lenient, but there are certain basic rules that, of course, you cannot break. So a penalty given. Penalty 3, we just saw penalty 4, penalty 3, of course, 40 yards the distance, undefended. Unlike what you might be used to in Europe, where you would still see a penalty 3 being defended, meaning as soon as the striking player hits the ball, a defender can ride between his posts to try and block that, very often to the detriment of the pony. But, beg your pardon, Diego Kavanagh there getting his second goal of the afternoon and puts his team, Tamera, in the lead by 2-1, and we have a little under 2 minutes left to play in this first chukka. Back to the centre they come then, and for those of you who are new to the game of polo, I do apologise for those of you who've heard me say this, I'm sure 100 times, but in case you're wondering, yes, it is quite normal that they change ends after every goal is scored, and this could be a chance here for a man who I haven't seen that much of yet in this first chukka. Santi Torres hasn't really come to fruition, hasn't really had a chance to do what he does so well. A chance possibly here as he took the ball round the outside, teed it up nicely in front of goal at a 90-degree angle, came right out of the saddle there to open his shoulders and send that ball between the uprights, running into a little bit of traffic. In comes Pomma. Pomma now will try and finish that initial play. Well, it goes through. Now, who are we going to give that one to? Kavanagh, I'm being told. Diego Kavanagh putting the finishing touches in on that play. So goal number 3, his first hat-trick, or a hat-trick straight away off the top in this opening chukka. Will they have enough time before the first horn goes in the first chukka? Remember, after 7 minutes, you will hear a horn. I think there is still plenty of time once they line up. Esteban Ferrari throwing the ball into play. And again, of course, they change ends. There is said horn. There comes the deflection. The ball going out of bounds, coming off the pony there from Torito Ruiz. So, 3-1 after that hat-trick from Diego Kavanagh is how they will leave the field. The players will get themselves a fresh set of legs, and I hope you will be right back with us here on Chukka TV for Chukka 2 of the Palm Beach Open Group B game between Great Oaks and Tamera. Welcome back. You've timed it just right. We're about to start Chukka number 2. A warm welcome to you if you've just tuned in here on Chukka TV. Nacho Navijo Estrada here in the pale blue shirts, taking a shot for his team, Great Oaks. Great Oaks, as I say, playing their first game, which happens to also be the 4th game and the last game in the first round of the WPL Palm Beach Open 2021. Alongside Steve Lane, and we were just talking about the conditions out there. Temperatures have been soaring. We had a very, very, very hot morning. There was the suggestion of maybe 1 or 2 clouds coming over to give us a little bit of shade, but the sun has burnt most of the clouds away. So we're in the low, if not 30-degree mark here, mid to high 80s in Fahrenheit. And as Steve was suggesting, the players may be just pacing themselves, because as we will be playing 6 chukkers. We have a penalty after that play just a few seconds ago. And penalty 2, of course. Now we've seen a penalty 4, we've seen a penalty 3. A penalty 2 now is where the ball is moved up even closer to the goal. 30 yards is the distance, again undefended. And it's going to be taken by Clemente Zavaleta. Zavaleta on a slight bouncy pony, but he makes no mistake and also gets his second goal. Remember, he scored an early goal in the first chukka. So that gap of 2 goals reduced to just 1. But Tamera still in the lead, going into just now 6 minutes left to play in the second chukka. They line up on the centre. Esteban Ferrari throwing in the ball. There comes the near side backhand. Now then, who's going to pick this one up? There was an appeal there from Ali Poma, beg your pardon. But the umpires not deeming that as dangerous, so no reason to stop play. That ball going over the back line will mean once again a hit from the spot, taken very quickly here by Nacho Novijo Estrada. Sends one out to the left-hand side, looking once again for Clemente Zavaleta. Torres picks up the deflection, sends that one across the field where Ali Poma was getting his skates on. Again, solid first touch there on the near side, but he's got Nacho Novijo Estrada, who fakes the backhand, takes the ball round, tees it up nicely. Nacho. Still, Nacho will give it and leave it for Zavaleta. Under the neck. Looking to play it possibly to the number 4. We haven't seen much yet of Dylan Bacon. Again, the ball lands at the feet of Nacho Novijo Estrada. Deflection once again coming off that ball. It's stolen here by the team in blue, Tamera. Kavanagh being pushed very, very deep. Changes direction. Now, a chance here for the team in the dark blue shirts to open up. Again, a great pass. Hey-ho, Taranka will pick this one up, allowing Santi Torres to go past him. Taranka, a little flick of the wrist here. Still Taranko. Pommer is at the front waiting. Taranko still with possession. And Zavaleta will send a near side backhand down the field. There is the backhand, sending it back again into the danger zone. Nicely picked up. Taranko. The number 4, hey-ho, Taranko. 8-goaler, of course. And, Steve, did that ball go over the line, or did I miss a whistle?
I think there was a whistle on that.
Yeah, there was a whistle on that play. Zavaleta there, fouling Taranko. So the light blues, Great Oaks, have it again over on the far side. Torito Ruiz, of course, similar coloured helmet, but on the other side, playing the number 1 position for Great Oaks. Once again, the ball out of play, so another hit from the spot, a penalty 5A, quickly taken. And Nacho Novijo Estrada Coming in for a challenge was Torres. Deflection off Torres' pony. Still Nacho Navijo. Estrada, he might have another attempt at this, but Santi Torres can now just but watch as the 8-goaler goes past him. Torres just hovering, waiting, faking the backhand, turns it on the boards. Torres sent back down the field again by Navijo Estrada. Coming out was, or is, I should rather say, Torito Ruiz. But we had another whistle on that play, and at this time, of course, 3:27 time for a courtesy change. Steve, a little bit patchy this game now in the second chukker. Not really what we were expecting, a nice, fast, open-flowing game. Do you think it's just down to the temperature, or do you think there's also a lot of respect for the opposition here?
I think both of those notes are accountable for. I think they're feeling each other out. A little bit of respect, and also temperature, I think, is playing its role. But one thing I will say, I like the way the umpires are calling this. This is they played a slow whistle on this play. We had a Tamera player come in front of Torito on that play, and if Torito would have come out with the ball, the umpires probably would have let it go. And down at the other end, earlier on, Ali Palma came in front of Clemente Zavaleta. Yep. Clemente shot on goal, didn't score the goal, and then that's when the whistle went. So I like the way they're playing the slow whistle and trying to play the advantage to allow things to flow a little bit more than they have been so far.
Yeah, well put, Steve, and let's hope that things pick up a pace or a notch or two. Still plenty of polo to be played here. If you've just joined us, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome. Chukker TV, of course, coming to you live from Jan Pamela. Field number 1. 3-2 at the moment. The team in the dark blue shirts, Tamera, in the lead after that hat-trick. That was scored by the 9-goaler, the highest handicap player on the field, Diego Kavanagh. But now after that play, and Steve, thank you once again for breaking that down for us. After that play now a chance, a penalty for, now that as you can see is defended. We've had one of those before when Diego Kavanagh tried to attempt to convert. He didn't. It is now the turn of Clemente Zavaleta. And that's the way you'd like to take a penalty for. It was high in the sky, not making it nigh impossible there for the defenders to reach. But you might have noticed the goal judge there, or the flagger with the flag indicating that ball went wide. It was definitely airborne, and it was a nice strike. But Zavaleta there not able to hit the target. And that, of course, means that Tamera in the dark shirts have possession, and they will get things underway again with a hit in from their own back line. Nice little pass across the field from Kavanagh to Taranko. Taranko will just hover, wait, taking the pace out a little bit. Leaves it behind. Once again, picked up now by Kavanagh. Kavanagh might run this one himself. Diego Kavanagh leaves it and gives it once again to Taranko. Taranko will have a little look up. Torres will be the first stop on that journey of that ball, trying to find its way to the, or between the uprights again. Left for the number 4, Taranko. Taranko drills one again, nicely picked up, and he nearly got underneath it. Ali Palma there in the right place, just could not control the ball as it came to him. Taranko spotted that he was a little bit on his own, had a little bit of space to try and do something there. As the light blues, Great Oaks, very quickly taking care of business. A nice hook there from Taranko, stopping Torito Ruiz from advancing any further. So once again, Tamera, Taranko just holds back a little. Now this is another one of the situations we had a bit earlier. Again, a little too steep, that pass. Oh, but it's gone in. It's gone in. Taranko. Hey ho. Taranko, well, nigh impossible, and how he managed to get an angle on that, really quite exceptional. So, hey ho, Taranko, man with the number 4, getting his first goal of the afternoon. 4-2. Balls back in play, and I was talking about a bit of shade, a bit of cloud coming over. Well, we've got a little bit of exactly that at the moment, as the ball is once again left for Dylan Bacon. Bacon Drills it out. He's found Nacho Novijo Estrada, but Taranko spotted him as well, trying to run away with it. Little challenge there from the back from Diego Kavanagh. Little under the neck from Novijo Estrada. He was looking for Dylan Bacon, but he gets a hard challenge and a bump there. Good defensive play from Palma. A lot of legs, a lot of malice in the air, and a whistle. Difficult to tell from this angle. Did you see anything untoward on that one, Steve? Yeah, it really is not easy to always see, but the two mounted umpires, I'm sure, will have seen exactly what was going on. With just a second left to go until we hear that horn. And then, of course, 30 seconds left to play in chukker number 2. Well, Tamera, they got 1. But Great Oaks have only scored 1, also only got just the 1. And they certainly need to score a few more goals. As Clemente Zavaleta will attempt to convert now here from the penalty 2 spot. He does. Clemente Zavaleta getting his 3rd, and with that horn, or that siren, we end chukker number 2. So 4 goals to 3. Still in favour of Tamera. We'll be back. Tamera will be back after this short break, so make sure you stay with us here on Chukker TV. Welcome back, everybody. Great to have you with us here. Chukker TV, of course, as always, bringing you the action this afternoon live from Jan Pamela, where these two teams are, not going flat out just yet. We were talking about that. Steve Lane, sitting next to me, umpire here at Grand Champions Polo Club, was saying that, those temperatures will take its toll. So the players pacing themselves a little bit. We've seen some great polo. Clemente Zavaleta for Great Oaks. That's the team in the light blue, having scored 3 times. matching the performance there of the 9-goaler Diego Kavanagh, who scored 3 in the opening chukker. The second chukker went in favour of Great Oaks. They won that one 2-1, but they lost the opening chukker 3-1. So the score, as you can see on your screens, 4-3 in favour of Tamera, the team in the dark blue shirts. Another foul along the sideboards here, which has resulted in a penalty shot in front of goal. Penalty 3. We've had already quite a few of those. Remember, that is 40 yards, the distance to goal in favour of Tamera. And teeing up the ball this time is Santi Torres. I wonder if they're going to let him have a go at this. Doesn't always mean that the man who tees up the ball is also going to be the man who takes the shot. But I think this time it will be exactly that. Santi Torres then, who's been surprisingly quiet also in the first 2 chukkers, will now attempt to convert this penalty 3. Torres, it's high, it's straight, no mistake. As to be expected, Santi Torres restores that 2-goal advantage. Tamera lead by 5-3 after that penalty 3 conversion by Santi Torres. Back to the centre they come then. And of course, as you know now, they change ends. So the dark blues playing from right to left, and they've won the throw-in. As it's stolen here by Torito Ruiz. Torito immediately gets a challenge. Player, they're pushing him out of the way. The man with the number 4, Taranko. I beg your pardon, number 3, Diego Kavanagh. Trying to take Torito Ruiz out of the equation to allow a little bit of a space. There's the under the neck from Santi Torres. Wants to feed that one up to Kavanagh. Kavanagh couldn't quite get to it. A backhander there from Zavaleta. And picked up again by, and with the number 3, Diego Kavanagh, as Taranko is going around the outside. Well, stolen by the 8-goaler Nacho Navija Estrada. Now Nacho getting closer and closer now towards that goal. Wants to get a shot on goal. And he is appealing, I believe, for opening his arm and also having a player ride into his swing. I wonder if that's the case and if that's what the umpire saw as well. He immediately looked over to see where the umpires were. Steve, was that a riding into the swing foul?
For me, no. I think the ball was hit into him and he didn't have time to clear, but we'll see what the umpires call right here. And, if I was blue right here, and of course it looks like Esteban Ferrari is on his radio, there might be a challenge here on this play. They've got new radios here today, so we can't hear on our walkie-talkies what the challenge, if there is a challenge, or what the call is. So we're a little bit in the dark on that, but it looks like the call is going to stand against Tamera, and it's going to be a penalty 2 in favor of Great Oaks.
Well, let's find out what the umpires made of that a little bit later. If it was a challenge, it was very quickly overruled. So a chance now, once again, for the team in the baby blue shirts, Great Oaks. And that, once again, is a job for Clemente Zavaleta, looking for his 4th goal of the match. Yep, you weren't going to reach that, even if you did have stilts. And the umpire overruling here the goal judge. The goal judge, as you might have seen, waving his flag, thought that ball was in. But we did mention that the mounted officials can't always overrule the decision of the umpire, the goal judge. I beg your pardon. And that seems to have been the case here. It looked pretty straight to me. But then, of course, win it on the field, Steve. And I know these boys know what they're doing. Now, Steve. Well, the clock has stopped. Steve, a word that I'm sure some of our viewers would like to understand. I've just heard it mentioned in the background here when they talk about the trigger. Can you just shed some light to the trigger?
Yeah, umpire triggers, there's 4 of them. And first one is whether a goal is scored or not. And 2, whether a safety occurred. and 3 if there's unsportsmanlike conduct, or maybe 4th is a collision behind the play. The umpires might be looking down the field at a play and something happens behind them and they're not able to see it. They can trigger that play. And here we have a re-hit because we have a player that was illegally lined up on the play. So here we go. So Clemente Zavaleta gets another chance, and he confirms the shot and the point on the board for that play.
Well, that would explain a lot because, like I said, that ball did look very much to go in. And again, well done by the umpires to have triggered that play and having relayed the ball down for Zavaleta to get a second chance. So 5 goals to 4, just one little goal in it. And this time the whistle blowing. Esteban Ferrari just giving some words of instruction. Now, of course, in polo, unlike in other sports that you might be accustomed to, if you backchat to the umpires can increase the severity of at any time any foul. Now, instead of having a throw-in, which is normally the case after a goal, of course, on the halfway line, the umpire, and we're going to put that down to what we call a technical foul, have awarded a hit from the spot in favour of Great Oaks. And that's Navijo Estrada there, just teeing up the ball, which would suggest they're going to try and drill this one deep down to the field into the half of Tamera. Let's see what Navijo Estrada has up his sleeve. Clemente Zavaleta also just getting his orders of where Nacho would like him to be. A play is called, and the clock, of course, will continue running once the 8-goaler hits the ball. Plays it very, very straight, but very low. So Allen is still running it, coming out the far end. But no light blue player there from Great Oaks, as Tamera will pick it up. Ali Poma there, coming out of nowhere from left field. There is the under the neck. The ball is still in play. Turned around, but challenge here as Dylan Bacon will take on the number 3, Diego Kavanagh. Takes a little bit of time, another deflection. And let's just hope that that man with the number 2 did not sustain an injury there. Clemente Zavaleta got the ball. Well, it came off him some way. You see the players, of course, with elbow pads, with knee pads. And a hit from the spot quickly taken here for Tamera. A nice long drilled ball there from Taranco. But nobody back home. Oh, Dylan couldn't control it, and in comes number 1, Ali Poma. Ali Poma. Well, he just rushed it a little bit there. Surprising there to see Dylan Bacon not pick that ball up. So a whistle. A courtesy horse change. This is around about the time, halfway through a chukker. 3:26 left on the clock. And the dark blue shirts still just holding on to, but ever so slightly, to by 1 goal. I think we're going to see a completely different game in the second half. I think, Steve Lane, you're absolutely right. The players are very much pacing this out themselves. Chance for me to remind you, if you haven't already made a note in your diary, tomorrow the WPL boys will have, I think, a well-deserved day off. And then Friday the 19th of March 2021, the very much and eagerly anticipated final of the SIBA Memorial. Live, of course, here on Chukker TV. First ball will be thrown in at around about 4:30 in the afternoon. And then Saturday, well, we've got a lot going on Saturday. The WPL will be full back in action. The schedules, as I told you, you will be able to check up out on gcpolo.com, and of course you can watch all the action live on chukkertv.com. Now the schedule does at the moment say that we have 2 games for the WPL. The first games of the next round, of course. This is the final game of the first round. All 8 teams will have played by then. So Saturday morning at 11, and then again in the afternoon at 4, and on the same should or will hopefully apply on Sunday. A game at 11 and a game at 4. And in between that, we want to try and also bring you coverage of the second elimination tournament, the $50,000 winner-take-all national 12 goal, which got off to a cracking start yesterday. Went into overtime and needed a golden goal to determine who was going to go through to the next round. So as I say, that another game that we're hoping to bring you over the weekend on Saturday. Let's go back to the action with Nacho Novijo Estrada. Couldn't get very far as Taranko was there waiting to pick up that ball. Steve, a whistle. Difficult to tell from where sitting, but was that a player coming across the right of way?
Well, let's see what they call here. Could be shading. I'm going to guess two options, shading or delay a game, but they're headed towards the Tamera goal, so I'm going to say shading the right of way right there on that play. That would be my guess. That was quite a bit of ways away from us right here, and this looks like it's going to be a penalty 3 in favor of Tamera.
Yeah, it looked like that to me as well. Shading, again, that right of way, that line, oh so important. And an opportunity, as you say, with a penalty 3 here for Tamera, and it's going to be Santi Torres. Santi Torres, he's already scored one from there. Torres at a walk, nearly a standstill, gets his second of the afternoon. Santi Torres making it 6 goals to 4 for the dark blue shirts, Tamera. So then, of course, next week, the WPL action will continue. And again, please check out the updates, the amendments that might be coming through on the schedule, gcpolo.com and chuckatv.com. I'm sure you all know by now. We'll be bringing you all the coverage. There's the shot from the centre. Dylan Bacon couldn't get to that one in time as it's sent back. A nice solid backhand by Palmer. And the number 3, Jago Kavanagh. He will pick this one up. Torito Ruiz will try and challenge him, and there's a man who rode into him. Well, that whistle was a little bit slow because coming into that right of way, or into that line, I should say, was Clemente Zavaleta, who looks a bit surprised on that play. But I think the umpires saw that, well, the way I saw it, now, is there going to be a challenge, or are they just going to take it? There is a challenge, so this is now one of those opportunities. And I remember, Steve, we spoke about this all day long yesterday. Every team gets a challenge per half. That challenge cannot be brought forward or into the second half. And I'm guessing this is about as good a time as any, with 2:16 left on the clock, third chukker, to at least use that challenge before losing it.
Yeah, I think it's very smart to use a challenge here because this is the difference between a bowl-in or a penalty 3 or 4. We'll see where the umpires place this ball. But it looks like it's going to be an open goal shot because, remember, Diego was the first blue player downfield. And had an open goal had he not been fouled. And that's kind of the way you want to think of things. Let's extend that play on out. Had the player not been fouled, where would he have ended up? So there you have it. Open goal. The challenge is, the umpire's call is confirmed. Challenge is lost for Great Oaks for the first half.
Thank you, Steve. And once again, you see the man there teeing up the ball. Penalty 3. He scored just a few moments ago. Down the other side of the field. Now, Santi Torres making no mistake. Also now getting his hat-trick, his 3rd goal of the game. And we're down to 2 minutes left to play in chukker number 3. The players will have a slightly longer break after the 3rd chukker. But you make sure that you come back and tune in for the second half of this last game of the first round here. All 6 teams have already played. These are the remaining 2 of the 8 teams that we have. Casablanca, Seminole Casino, Coconut Creek, White Birch and Richard Mill all in Group A. Santa Rita, Great Oaks, Tamera and Pampa Norte in Group B. Ball, I think, is still no. I thought for a moment there it was still in play. It went over the back line, so another attack here that Great Oaks have managed to put an end to without conceding another goal. 7 goals to 4 is the scoreline as it stands at the moment. And we have a man who's just come off the horse. Did he get a clip somewhere? he was by himself. And we're talking about Hey-Ho Taranko here, who is about to get back on the saddle and onto his horse. Well, my eyes were already halfway up the field. I couldn't see what was going on. When I turned around, all I could see was just him literally landing on his feet, standing next to his horse. So the umpires are going to award, or they're going to go with a throw-in.
This is probably going to be what they call a fair play.
Yep, that's what I thought. So not a throw-in, but as you said, Steve, a fair play throw-in, basically giving it with a shot back to the opposition. Zavaleta. Torres. A little under the neck number there from Santi Torres. He knows he's got a bit of support from Taranko. Torres changing direction, cutting in. There is the horn now. 30 seconds left to play in the first half. Torres leaves it behind and taking that defending player with him to allow his number 4, Hey-Ho Taranko, who gives it to Diego Kavanagh. Wants to send it back to Taranko, who picks it up beautifully on the near side. Now Torres. Looked like a set play there. Torres just couldn't get to that ball. Down to the last. Well, there is that final whistle, the final horn. So, at the end of the first half, Great Oaks in the light blue, trailing by 3 goals. Tamera lead 7 goals to 4 as they go for their half-time break. It'll be slightly longer than a normal chucker break, and time for you to maybe get yourself a fresh cup of coffee or a cup of tea in time to join us here for the second half in just a few moments. Make sure you come back to Chucker TV after these messages. everybody. We have a little bit of extra time here. The players not yet quite coming back out for the second half. As I mentioned to you earlier, I'm delighted to have Steve Lane with me this afternoon. Steve, thank you for joining me. Let's have a look at the way they've been playing. Well, the scoreboard says it quite clearly behind us. Not exactly the game I think a lot of people were expecting here this afternoon. What do you think that is?
Well, it's got a little bit of a slow pace to it. You know, like I say, I think the players are still pacing themselves a little bit, and they're slowing things down. And, of course, Tamera is being very successful in slowing things down. Hayho and Diego Cavanaugh are working very well together. Santi Torres up front has opened the doors, and Ali Palma's coming in making plays here and there. Now, if we look at the Great Oak side, they haven't really used Dylan Bacon a lot. I think he should stay out front a little bit more. They should feed him the ball. He got into a couple plays here in the third period of play, but as far as their offensive drives, they're being stopped. Balls are being broken up. Plays are being broken up by the Tamera team.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. You did mention just now Dylan Bacon. We saw a lot more of him in the dying minutes, or in the latter chukker there of the third chukker, and also Santi Torres, who took a while to really get going. He came back a little bit stronger than towards the end. Now, he's been very instrumental, of course, in converting those penalties, but we haven't seen that many goals being scored out of normal play.
Yeah, no, exactly right. A lot of them have been on penalties, and that's because they're slowing things down once they get inside the 60. So we're not seeing those long shots. We are seeing some great back shots in anticipation of the back shots and players turn on them, but we're not seeing the long shots towards goal.
Now, if you were the coach for both of these teams, what would you advise Great Oaks and what would you advise Tamera now here in the second half?
I would advise Great Oaks to send Dylan Bacon up front and let's feed the ball to him. And if I was Tamera, I'd say change nothing right now at this point.
Okay, well, I think the players are back out on the field. Thank you very much, Steve Lane. Well, let's hope what Steve's prediction is, what he said is right. I think it would make a big difference. As he said, Dylan Bacon, they need to utilize him a little bit more up front and create a few more chances. The players are back out on the field, and we are ready to get on with the second half here. Once again, a warm welcome to you if you've just joined us. We are, of course, coming to you live via Chukker TV, and we are at Jan Pamela's, and it is the fourth of our 6 Chukker match. This the final match in the first round of the WPL Palm Beach Open 2021. Remember, 2 groups or 2 brackets of each 4 teams. We've had the first 3 matches already. The first 2 took place on Monday, and then of course this morning when we had Richard Mille already with 2 titles to their name, taking on Seminole Casino Coconut Creek. It's a narrow victory once again, but a victory nonetheless for Richard Mille. And now let's go back to the action here at Jan Pamela's. 3 goals separating these 2 teams. Tamera, the team in the dark red shirts, and that's a ball to Santi Torres, who, despite the number on his shirt, you can see somebody you can appoint and designate anywhere on the field, now having to go back and play the number 4 position. And for the first time here, Steve, it looks like Tamera are struggling a little bit to get out of their own half. A lot of pressing now coming here from the light blue shirts, Great Oaks. And that ball coming from the man we just spoke about, Dylan Bacon, who wants to make sure that he doesn't allow Ali Palma to go past. This is now down to the horse pace, and Palma tried to pick that one on the near side. It's sent back up the field by Zavaleta, but waiting there is Diego Cavanaugh. Cavanaugh, Taranco, he will come and lend a helping hand. Also, a very busy day at the office for the 8-goaler there. Still Taranco finds himself a slot. He's got, a player to choose from. I thought for a moment that he was going to send that one to Palma. Palma still in the danger zone. He put his mallet out, tried to just chip that one if he could. He got a little bit unlucky on that play. On the far side now, on the sideboards, Nacho Novijo Estrada. It had a deflection, and I think it might have hit a player in the, dare I say it, in the face. Oh, it came off his mallet. Oh, thank God for that. It looked a little bit like it might have hit the lid of his hat. So all is good. So all of a sudden, we were talking about this, Steve. All of a sudden, this game does seem to be picking up a lot of pace here now. And we kind of expected that this was going to be the case, especially in the second half, because, of course, it is all now or nothing. Torres Santi just picks that one up and does a cheeky little pirouette there in front of goal still. Torres trying to avoid the hook that came in there from Nacho Navijo Estrada. And that ball, the shot from Santi Torres, but only ever so slightly just going wide. So, yeah, I think your predictions, Steve, are very much on point. Definitely a change in pace here. The teams are coming out a lot stronger and a lot harder now here in this second half. Navijo Estrada looking to feed the ball up to Torito Ruiz. Ruiz just tees it up. Has to just hold back ever so slightly. There's no one to play it to. And, of course, he'll be over that straight away. He had already turned Diego Kavanagh. Slightly wrong-footed as it's sent back down the field by Zavaleta. Zavaleta finds Torito Ruiz. And at the number 1, well, beg your pardon, that is Torito. In comes a challenge. Now remember, you can't challenge a player from both sides. Alec Pommer there, trying to put his stick down as Great Oaks find themselves all of a sudden a lot further downfield in Tamera territory. There again, Nacho Navijo Estrada, and who's back in defence? You saw him at the front just a few moments ago. Santi Torres did not hit that the way he would have liked. The danger only just being taken care of there as they play it right in front of their own goal mouth. Here's the drive now. You were talking about those long balls, Steve. He topped it ever so slightly. Who's going to get to it first? Ruiz. Torito Ruiz sends it back. Picked up nicely by Pommer. Pommer on the far side, couldn't control it. Zavaleta sends it back. Clemente looking for Torito, but Torres just ever so slightly in front as Taranco will come in. And through the centre now. That's a nice long ball, and for the first time we've got a nice open play here. Now he gets and fights for every ball. Good first touch. He's going to have to correct himself. Nicely done on the near side there by Pommer. Ale Pommer now. He's on a run. Needs to check his pony and put the finishing touch to a great play here by the one goaler. Ale Pommer getting, I think, a very deserved goal. He did well, didn't he, Steve, to pick that ball up first on his stick side, then had to correct it on the near side. He had no choice. Managed to find a little bit of space for himself. So as they say in Argentina, que golazo. What are your thoughts on that, Steve Lane?
Yeah, I think winning the write-off from Dylan Bacon was the key point in that play. Diego saw him out front. He and Dylan Bacon came together. He had a little bit more horsepower than Dylan did, so he was able to win the write-off and then be free and take the ball to goal. And, I'd like to rethink what we said at halftime a little bit, or what I said. They've got Torito playing number 1 today and Dylan Bacon playing back. But we did see a play here early in the chukker where Dylan went downfield in an offensive position, and what he did is he took Heijo Taranco with him, so he took 8 goals with him, leaving 22 goals behind, and I kind of like that play a little bit better. Personally, I like Dylan Bacon out front. I think he's handy with a stick, and I think he's more useful out front than he is at the back.
Yep, I think I would tend to agree with you, but definitely we're seeing a lot more now of Dylan Bacon playing the number 4 position. But then, of course, they do like to do the old switcheroo, and we've seen Dylan Bacon getting a lot more stuck in now. I'm sure that halftime team talk will have bared some fruits with most of the players, because I think it's safe to say and fair to say that we are seeing a completely different game here now. A lot more pace, a lot more aggression coming in now, and a lot more vigour from both teams. 2:06 left on the clock. We're in the 4th chukker. And great to have you with us watching here on Chukker TV. Ball's back in play. And I think, Steve, you'll agree with me also, it's going to come down to very much now who is going to win those throw-ins, or as you like to say, those ball-ins. Nacho Navijo Estrada trying to send the ball up the field. Oh, a swing and a miss, and that could cost them dearly, as they will find another gap. Nacho Navijo Estrada there, just like he's taken the ball for a little walk, a little stroll through the goalposts. Nacho Navijo Estrada, player with the number 3. Highest handicap player on his team, of course, with 8 goals. Getting a very important goal back. 8 goals to 5. Tamera yet to beat, and they will be quite happy with their performance so far. 3 in the first, 1 in the second, and then 2 in the third. And of course, one in the fourth. 8 goals so far. Here we go then. This time it is the turn of that young player, Dylan Bacon, playing the number 4, has the ball taken off him. Torres coming in. Little open backhand attempt there from Pomma. Didn't quite make the connection. Taranka coming back, just anticipating that he might have to go back in defence again. A little bit of a traffic jam over on the far side. Eventually the ball comes out, is broken free. And the number 3, Jago Kavanagh, will try and send it back. There is the siren, or the horn. Torito just has to hold back ever so slightly before he takes that shot. Zavaleta at front. And Taranko again, clearing it nicely on the near side. He knows there's just a matter of seconds now before they will call it a chucker. Nicely done and sent back by Nacho Novijo Estrada. That ball going out of play and over the sideboards, and that whistle suggesting, of course, end of chucker number 5. 8 goals to 5, a cushion of 3 goals here for Tamera. We'll be back in just a few moments with the penultimate and final chucker of this WPL game. Chucker 5 coming up, yeah. Penultimate and final chucker, coming up in just a few moments after this short break. Stay with us here on Chucker TV. Welcome back, everybody. 8 goals to 5 is the score on the score sheet as they left at the end of chucker number 4. Steve, a different game to what we saw in the first half. Pace has definitely picked up, and we're seeing a lot of more goals now coming out of normal play as opposed to penalties. Santi Torres, of course, in chucker number 3, scoring 3 goals, but all coming out of penalties. Play will continue, of course, where they ended play at the end of that previous chucker with a hit from the spot. Quickly taken by Nacho Novijo Estrada. And all of a sudden, it's also great to see how Ale Pomma there coming right into the game. Not only up front to score goals, but also coming back now to lend a helping hand back in defence. And a chance now here for the team in the dark blue shirts. Number 4, hey-ho, Taranko. It's a 2-man horse race. Taranko takes a shot. Ball is still, but only just in play. Pomma trying to keep it in play. But eventually it just went over the back line. So as I say, 8 goals to 5 after 4 chukkers played. And a hit in, of course, taken very quickly. Nacho Navijo Estrada. A lofted ball over on the far side, looking for Dylan Bacon. The ball didn't quite come through. Zavaleta, but Santi Torres coming back now also to play a very solid defensive play. He tees up the ball, steals it back, turns that defensive play into offensive play. Palmer going up, he wants the ball. Torres has got it. And then there was just one too many defenders there from Great Oaks for Torres to deal with. But Torres, you see, that's what I like about Torres. Torres, once he gets his teeth into a play, he might lose it, but only momentarily. He will come back and fight for it. In the thick of it there, Diego Kavanagh. On the sideboards, they must allow a little bit of space here. Eventually the umpires will. There's the under the neck shot. A little bit too stiff, or too steep, therefore, I should say, for Ale Palmer. Bacon gets a hard right off there. Well, he won't hold back. That's what I like about Ali. That ball going over the sideboards. I think it came off Dylan Bacon. So, if my judgment serves me correctly, we'll have a hit from the spot. Now, that is shooting distance. A hit from the spot. Now then, it'll be Diego Kavanagh. Kavanagh tries to get it up into the danger zone, but Great Oaks, nicely done, turning it, leaving Torres behind. Oh. Now then, that looked a little bit controversial, to say the least. Well, what we call in the rule book a not correct ride-off. Remember, there's a certain angle at which you can come in and take that player off that line. Again, of course, designed around the welfare of the pony. You cannot, of course, T-bone a pony. And again, the umpires, of course, very much looking out for exactly those kind of fouls. So a good call here by the umpires. And a penalty 3 as a result of that will be the consequences. And a big chance here for Great Oaks to claw one back. They still have plenty of time in this, the penultimate 5th chukker, with 4:53 on the clock, and then of course a 6th and final chukker to play. Now let's see what Clemente Zavaleta can pull out of the bag here. Should be a formality, and it is Zavaleta getting the first goal of chukker number 5. 8 goals to 6. Back to the centre then. 4.5 minutes left to play. Yes, please. Great Oaks. Just wanted to verify my notes matching up with those of the timekeeper and our official, of course, who takes the scores. A little backhand flick there, but they got to be careful because in comes Kavanagh. Now Kavanagh will open things up. He had Santi Torres there, I think, in his sights. Torito Ruiz still in possession. Gets a challenge there from Torres. Now Torres can't overdo it, and I think he might be cautioned there by one of the 2 umpires. He was trying to just push that player off the line, but Steve was talking about it earlier, coming in at an angle where you can't really do much there. So 3:49, I think the players are also going to be given an opportunity for a courtesy change. Well, we're just waiting to see or to hear. So far, we've not heard anything remotely that sounded like a challenge. So, two players staying out on the field, Santi Torres and a man, Steve, who I think you'd agree with me, who's really stepping up to the plate here. We just saw him do a very good job back in defence. Ale Pommen, of course, he scored that incredible goal in Chukka 4. And, of course, it's great to see when these players of 1-0 or 1 goals, obviously, you know, feed off the rest of their teammates, pick up the motivation and the encouragement, and that of course can really do a lot for a player out there on the field. And I think Ale Pommen here doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, he's in the place. He's I'm not sure what his handicap is he's a 1-goal player, but he's playing above his handicap. He's certainly mounted very well and riding very well, and he's making plays. And like you mentioned, that was a beautiful goal that he scored from just beyond center field and taking it right through and hitting the target where it needed to be. So doing a good job up front at number 1.
Thank you very much, Steve. So the player's back out on the field, and there he is, Diego Kavanagh, and he will try and send one with a little bit of spin on it into the danger zone. Torres puts his oar into the mix there, Torres. Now, Torres, I've always enjoyed watching so much because he really is a master with the ball. A man with a lot of patience, a lot of oversight, of course, a lot of experience. This time trying to send the ball from around about the 50-yard mark. Only narrowly missing the target. 3 minutes and a few seconds left to play in this, the 5th chuck-up. Still very much anyone's game. And despite the fact that Tamera might be in the lead here by 2, well, 2 is definitely a figure and a number that I'm sure the Baby Blue Blues Great Oaks can live with. They come over the sideboards. Torres there wants to lend a helping hand and take away the number 1, Torito Ruiz, to allow the 9-goaler Diego Kavanagh still on the ball to take a shot. There it is through the centre. He's looking for Taranko. Taranko did not pick that one up on the side that he wanted. He now, but after that unforced error, will get a chance. Taranko around the outside, still Taranko. Kavanagh will come back and pick up the loose ball. Still pushing hard. Torito Ruiz trying to stop him in his tracks. Well, that to me looked like a blocking foul. A clear obstruction. Of course, you cannot obstruct a player when he's coming down the line. Let's see if the umpires saw that in a similar way, and especially what the consequences of that play will be. A little deliberation there. Dylan Bacon, I think the player there just being censored or cautioned there by Esteban Ferrari. Well, it's definitely gone in favour of dark blue, Tamera. And again, a man who's already scored 3 times more or less from that spot, Santi Torres, having to step up to the plate once more to what I'm sure will be his 4th and goal number 9. There it is, goal number 9 for Santi Torres and his team, Tamera. So just 1 away from going into double figures. Now, of course, Great Oaks don't want to let them running away too much with too much of a cushion here. We're down to the last minute and 45 in the 5th chucker. And I said 2 goals isn't much. 3, of course, is already a relatively tall order, because you've got to bring those 3 goals back up on the scoreboard and then some if you want to leave the field, of course, as the winner. Well, again, I think a blocking foul, an obstructing foul. Steve, you saw it there. The umpire, of course, right underneath that play. The player straight away looking up to see what the umpire would say, and I think he's reacted accordingly. How did you see that?
Yeah, it just looked like a dangerous riding call there against Torito. Just spinning hey-ho right on around, and of course the umpire's right there on top of the play, making a cracking call, by the way, I might say. Hey, that's yours, but I figured I'd use it. So anyhow, it's going to be a penalty in favor of Tamera.
Well, is it today or was it yesterday, St. Patrick's Day? Isn't that today?
Today.
Well, it's all about the crack in Ireland. In Ireland, everything's about the crack. You know, it's a great crack. A cup of tea could be a great crack. A cracking cup of tea or a cracking game of whatever. And this is a cracking game of polo. So you feel free to learn from me, my dear friend Steve. I'm learning from you. I'll teach you English or Irish. And we're going to have a cracking shot at goal now here from the boys in blue, who I'm sure if they can convert now will be in double figures. Now that of course will be a very tall order. 4 goals, a very comfortable position to be in. Diego Kavanagh, the man left with the responsibility now to make that happen. Play is called, 60 yards the distance. What do you say, Steve? Is it going to go in?
Yes. Nope.
Well, you can't change your mind like that, Steve. You can't be that Irish. I mean, really. it's either yes or no. No, that was definitely not a cracking shot. As now on the far side, Torito Ruiz, and not wasting any time to run away with that one. Torito Ruiz, but he's up against Taranco. Torres. Where's that ball gone? It's very bright out there now. It's left once again. No, it just went over the back. I think it's gone out of play. Taranco was there. Yeah, you see the goal judge there indicating that once that ball goes over the back line, again the flag will be waved down at the bottom. So here we go then. It was a nice fast run there. Would it be nice to see Great Oaks come back with another quick goal? You might have heard in the background there the siren or the horn. 30 seconds left to play. A little backhander there from Dylan. Picked up just adjacent to the halfway line here from Torito Ruiz. Ruiz will try and avoid the hook that's coming there from Diego Kavanagh. In comes the next man, the challenger this time. Hey-ho, Taranco, Torito Ruiz. He's lost the ball. Ale Poma there. Initially has done enough. And that is all they wrote, all they played for at the end of the 5th chukker. 9 goals to 6. It's going to be very exciting when we come back here, and I hope you do too here on Chukker TV. Make sure you join us for the 6th and final chukker of the first round game of the WPL Palm Beach Open 2021 Group B. Welcome back, everybody. Great to have you with us still here. Coming to you, of course, live from Jan Pamela. A game of 2 halves. not just because it's obvious, but also because of two halves. A different first half to what we're seeing now in the second half. Both teams very much have come alive in the last two chukkers. They left the field just a few moments ago with the scoreline reading 9-6 in favour of the dark blue shirts. And then, of course, Tamera. Let me just quickly remind you again, Ali Poma, Santi Torres, having scored 4 times. Ali with a great goal in chukker number 4. Taranko, a goal early on in chukker number 2. And, of course, the hat-trick brought to you by Diego Kavanagh also in the first chukker. That gave them 9 goals going into this, the 6th and final chukker, and a very important steal and a cheeky goal here for Torito Ruiz for Great Oaks. A very, very important goal. They were trailing by 3. They've managed to get that down to just 2. An early and a very important goal here at the top of chukker number 6 is what was needed. But they now need to do the same again at least twice. And a good start, a good omen for that would be to win the throw-in. As the ball is released on the far side there by Federico Martelli. In an ideal scenario, they will be going down to the right-hand side. Torres working very hard, just going up, anticipating that there was another dark blue shirt, one of his teammates, who would be able to send that ball in the right direction. There's the under the neck shot, and they're not going to waste any time now. Dylan Bacon out in front, checks, has a little look. He's got Torres up against him. Dylan Bacon wanting to get a shot on goal, but he just took a little bit too much time there as Taranko managed to clear it. There comes the under the neck. Nicely done from Nacho Novijo Estrada. Well, where did he pull that one out of the bag? A very, very important goal. Only his second of the afternoon, but I'm sure you'll agree with him, one of the most important goals he could have scored. They trailed by just 1. Now, motivation, determination, of course, above all, concentration is what is needed here for Great Oaks. They were trailing by 3 just a couple of minutes ago. And all of a sudden, it's just down to 1 little goal. But this young man also playing outstanding here this afternoon. A similar scenario we had before. He's trying to finish it there on the near side. Torres coming in to lend him a helping hand. He just ran out of polo field there. Superbly done by Ale Palmer there. Unlucky for him. He was denied that. I think he should have. He deserved that goal. We've seen him get much more involved here, not only at front waiting for the perfect balls, but also coming back and working a very, very solid defensive play when needed. Torres, ball didn't quite get to him, and another. Well, some say he did, some say he didn't. To me, that did look like it was very borderline, and of course, when in doubt, the umpires will go by the rules. A cross of right of way there, a right of way foul, and this is definitely not. Yes, definitely not what the team in the light blue shirts, Great Oaks, were hoping for. Already teeing up the ball. He's done it 4 times. This could be his 5th conversion from a penalty situation. Remember, he scored 3 in the 3rd chukker. And so far, Diego Kavanagh also with at least a hat-trick to his name. So let's watch Santi Torres. Santi Torres making no mistake, converting penalty number 5 for the 7-goaler. And that puts his team into double figures and restores at least a 2-goal advantage. But there is still plenty of time for Great Oaks. And as I said just now, it's so important to try and win those throw-ins. Makes all the difference once they have the ball and they can run with it. A clean 1 or 2 shots and they are through. So here we go then, ball's thrown into play. Now then, who is going to win it? That is the big question here. Looks again like it's going to be dark blue, or is it? There's the open backhander coming from Clemente Zavaleta, but it's picked up straight away by Ali Palmer. He is just really, as Steve was saying, playing well above his station here. Has a little steal there. The umpire's being exceptionally lenient. That ball will drop. The first man to it will be Torres. Santi Torres just plays it out for a little space that he needs. He's getting the pressure there from Nacho Novijo Estrada. Kavanagh coming in, but Torres still. I'm sure he might have had a little look at the clock. He saw 3:33 left to play. Torres along the sideboards. But it'll be Torito Ruiz. Can't afford to waste any time. Taranko there, breathing down his neck. But he's done well. Torres now, shoulder to shoulder. And that's going to end at the feet of Kavanagh. Kavanagh sends it back, looking for Torres. Torres will make way. He's back there again. Ale Pommer. Pommer around the outside. Pommer. Oh, he's done well. Takes it all the way. The cut shot's what he needs here. Or will he tap it in? Torres comes in, tucks him nicely behind him. Behind him, slams on the brakes. Maybe he's going to try and run it in along the back line. Still Torres trying to find his way through those light blue shirts. Oof, very close. And the goal judge says it's gone through. Well, that's a good question. Who scored that goal? Well, we'll get back to you on that one. We're just trying to get verification. Taranko. I thought it looked more like Taranko. So Taranko restoring that 3-goal advantage. Taranko only his second. And again, when it matters most, goal of the afternoon. 11 goals to 5. So that 1-goal deficit short-lived here. They did ever so well. Torito Ruiz scoring first, and then Nacho Novijo Estrada getting it up within 1 goal. But then it was back down to that penalty, which of course Santi Torres, his 5th, converted with absolute no problem. And then just a few seconds ago, Heiho Taranko with his 2nd of the afternoon. 11 goals to 8. We're down to 2:16 on the clock as they come back to the centre. Ball's about to be thrown in. Well, the pressure now very much on. Great Oaks against a very strong opponent, and now also playing against the time. They need to win this throw-in, and they need to be very quick in scoring a goal and coming back to where they are right now, the halfway line for a throw-in, which they then need to win again. But once again, it's the... Oh, is it? I thought for a moment there the Dark Blues were going to run with it, but it looks like Nacho Novijo Estrada there, but he's got to get round the outside of Taranko. Not an easy task. And that ball going over the sideboard, so another hit from the spot. A 5A. Quickly taken. Torres will run over it. Now let's see if Tamera have a final little team play, a little game plan up their sleeve. There's the ball. It's a little bit too short for Torres. It's going to be taken by Kavanagh. Kavanagh wanted to extend it with a very quick shot up to the front where Torres was waiting. Open backhand. Torres, the recipient. Now he could. Well, he tried to take a shot on goal, but Torito Ruiz put his mallet down. Chance here for Ale Pommer. Pommer finds a little gap. Pommer gets her. A nasty little bump there in front of goal, as does the goal post. Let's have a look at the clock. A minute left to play. 8 goals to 6. That's an average of 20 seconds per goal needed here. And Tamera know that, of course, now time very much on their side. But I have to say, chapeau to Great Oaks, who kept fighting till the very end here. Did not give up, and will fight till the very end. Torito Ruiz, will he get to this ball? Ruiz, near side backhand, intercepted on the halfway line by Nacho Novijo Estrada. Dylan Bacon, he will try and send one up to the front where Torito is waiting, but Diego Kavanagh will clear it. The clock now running down. He knows it, fakes a backhand, cuts in one more time. A little bit of magic here from the South American 9-goal player. And they'll be thinking, let's just get that ball as far away as possible. It's extended by Santi Torres. And that will be the end of the game. Final score then, 11 goals to 8 after a very strong comeback here, especially in that sixth chukker for Great Oaks. It just wasn't going to be enough on the day. The force, the power combined there of Ali Poma, Santi Torres, Diego Cavana and Heiho Taranko. Just a little bit too much when it mattered. 11 goals to 8, the final score then. That the last game of Group B. All 8 teams now having played. And we very much hope you have enjoyed watching the 2 matches. Of course, earlier this morning we saw Richard Mill taking on Seminole Casino Coconut Creek. 9 goals to 8. That game ended. And now here 11 goals to 8 in favour of Tamera. Thank you very much for joining us here on Chukker TV. We've hoped you've had a fun morning and a fun afternoon watching the action here from the WPL. Remember, of course, on Friday, the action continues 4:30. We will have the much anticipated final of the SIBA Memorial. Until then, stay safe, stay well, and make sure you tune in on Chukker TV coming Friday, the 19th of March at 4:30. Until then, goodbye from us.